Welcome to Brains on Games. I'm Dr. Brian MacDonald, and my quarantine beard is short this episode, and next time I might have my head shaved. But let's get right down to business with this episode's game. It's an award-nominated game that originally I chose because of the age range between my nieces and my sons. There's about 6 years, I think, between my youngest niece and my oldest son, so it is hard to find games that everyone could play together, especially when the kids were all younger. This game is great, the one that I've chosen for this episode. It's great because it's a small package, so it's easy to transport. It's appropriate for kids and adults aged 3 to 99. So if you're 100 years old, you might be out of luck. But it can be played in anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes. And it is a dexterity game called Rhino Hero. A dexterity game is one that requires you to, well, in this case it's to stack cards, but like Jenga, where you're moving blocks out of a tower and placing it on top without knocking everything over, Rhino Hero is one where you're trying to build a tower of cards. Eventually, as the game becomes more difficult, you have to place a little superhero rhinoceros. I don't know if you'll be able to see this on the video, but you have to place a super rhinoceros on your tower of cards, which might make it fall over. So what you've got in this game, every player, and you can play with between 2 and 5 people, every player has a hand of cards, which is the floor that you're going to place on the tower. And you can see there's a little angle there, and that angle shows how many walls need to be placed on that floor. And like I said, sometimes you have to place a rhinoceros, so some of the cards look like this. So you win the game by being the first one to get rid of all of your cards without knocking the tower over. Let's take a quick look. So you can see a little piece of the tower here. This is about 18 inches off of the table, so it's starting to get pretty high. And here are the walls that you place on this tower. So you can see that there's on the outside there's a building with animals peeking out of the windows. The inside has wallpaper and sometimes some decorations. The walls all look a little bit different. So the idea is that you have to carefully place. So again, this is a dexterity game. So you're using your motor skills to carefully place your floor so that you can then carefully add. I'm going to be a little bit shaky when I do this. So you can carefully add your wall. And speaking of being shaky when you're working on this, the other piece to this game that I think is really neat, and it's one that I often recommend for kids who tend to be impulsive, it's a game that requires some self-regulation skills and a little bit of patience. You have to carefully place your walls on this tower, and you may have to hold your breath to make sure that you can keep your hand steady while you do it. Like I said, my nieces, Kayla and Olivia, love this one, and it's great because you can play with kids and adults of all ages, quick and easy to put together. So this gives you a little bit of an idea. Here, I'll put the little rhinoceros on here without knocking the tower over. This gives you a little bit of an idea about a dexterity game, Rhino Hero. I'm going to show you one bonus game today that my niece Olivia really likes. She beats me every time we play it together. Before we get to the bonus game, I just wanted to mention that there's a sequel to Rhino Hero called Rhino Hero Super Battle. And this one, as you can see, it comes in a much bigger box. It's a little harder to transport than the original Rhino Hero game. And the difference is that there are multiple little heroes. Here's the elephant, and they have walls of 2 different sizes, so it creates very different towers that kind of spread out a little bit as you're playing the game. Now, I sort of prefer the original one because it's so simple. I once played it, my friend brought his kids over who are very young, and English is not their first language. They're learning English, but we were able to play some games of Rhino Hero because it's so easy for kids to grasp, and it's so easy for the adults to explain. But the bonus game, like I said, is one that I never seem to be able to win, and it is a game called Wallamoppi. Now you can see this is it's got some kiwis on the box. It's a wooden box. It's a little bit harder to find, I would say, than Rhino Hero. Rhino Hero you can get on Amazon, or You know, I prefer to recommend that people go to their local game stores to pick up these games. But Wallamoppi I had to track down on eBay of all places, and you can still find it, but it's been out of print for a few years. And it's another stacking game, but it's different from Rhino Hero and from Jenga, because rather than the careful, patient placement of blocks or cards in your tower, this is one where you have to work quickly. And in fact, the box itself is a timer. Let me show you here. I'll open it up. I'll slide. You can see the top slides off. And inside, what you've got is a marble run. So you drop a marble through this hole in the top of the box, and it goes through this path that you can see. And the idea is you have to place these wooden chips into a pyramid and then catch your marble before it drops. So that makes things a lot more complicated. You've got to have a fast reaction time. So this is one for a perfectionist who might be a little bit frustrated when things aren't absolutely the way that they're supposed to be or aren't placed exactly the way that they should be. They have to make more rapid decisions. So it's a dexterity game, but the added skill that you're needing here is rapid decision making. First, you drop the marble into the timer, and then you have to reach into the bag, grab a chip, place it, and catch your marble. You can hear it falling. There we go. And somehow Olivia always beats me at this game. So Rhino Hero is a game that requires dexterity, but you've got to be patient and use self-regulation skills, whereas Wallamoppi is a dexterity game with fast decision making that's required. Next episode, we're finally going to get around to talking about that game that requires verbal reasoning skills. I won't give its name away now, but it is a popular one. So hopefully you'll join us next time for that. And in the meantime, happy birthday, Olivia.